Welcome back, everybody. Welcome. It's good to be back. These are the best horror films from the year 2000. We've already covered the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. Now we're on to the best horror films of all time from the year 2000. We're going to be covering the decade of 2000 to 2009. So join me in this video. We celebrate and show you all the horror films, all the best horror films that came out in the year 2000. So stick around, we got a doozy for you. This decade is loaded. This decade is massive with horror films. It blows away the 80s and the 90s as far as volume of videos, right? So no more talking, click subscribe, hit that notification bell. All right, let's get to it now. These are the best horror films that were released worldwide, movie theaters, cable TV, streaming, whatever, in the year 2000. Let's check them out. Alright, we got 7 Days to Live. A grieving woman suffers terrifying visions of her own demise after she and her husband move into a country mansion. 7 Days to Live, drama, horror, and thriller. This movie is a scorcher. 909 Experiment. A man and his girlfriend take on an experiment from a doctor. For $300, all they have to do is record everything. 909 Experiment. This is pure horror. American Psycho. Dark comedy, psychological drama, and thriller. A wealthy New York City investment banking executive, Patrick Bateman, hides his alternate psychopathic ego from his coworkers and friends by killing people that he meets. Anatomy. Slasher horror. A cute med student starts a summer course at Heidelberg University. David is on her dissection table. She met him the day before on the train. Something's wrong. Anaza Heaven. A pair of hard-boiled Tokyo cops are investigating a gruesome murder. After killing the victim, the murderer cuts his skull open and cooked his brain in a stew. Crime, horror, and sci-fi. Anaza Heaven. Believe. Family and horror. After being kicked out of boarding school after boarding school, Ben is sent to live with his stern grandfather in a small town where nobody is interested in him except a girl named Catherine. Believe. Boltneck. Comedy, horror, and sci-fi. A student receives a serial killer's brain in a transplant after being thrown into a pool with no water in it. Gruesome. Starring Matthew Lawrence. Biohazard. 4D Executor. 5 members of the Umbrella Biohazard Countermeasure Service are sent to Raccoon City to trace Dr. Cameron and, foremost, her research. Computer animation, action animation, and horror. Bless the Child. Cody, a little girl abandoned by her mother and raised by her aunt, a nurse, is kidnapped. The girl's guardian, aided by an FBI agent, learns that Cody has supernatural abilities. Bless the Child. Zombie Bloodbath 3, a zombie Armageddon. A bunch of zombies that are used by the government to fight in a major war in the near future get launched into space. Zombie Bloodbath 3, Zombie Armageddon is a scorcher. Blood Red Planet. From beyond the galaxy comes a terror heading toward Earth, destroying everything in its path. Horror and sci-fi. Orbit into terror. Next up we have is Blood, the Last Vampire. Saya is a Japanese vampire slayer whose next mission is in high school on a U.S. military base in 1960 Japan, where she poses as a student. She uses karate to kill vampires. Bloody Beach. A group of chat room buddies decide to meet together in reality on the beach for some fun in the sun. However, their vacation transforms into nightmare as each person is murdered by the mysterious person. Bloody Murder. Slasher horror. Plans for a summer filled with fun and romance turn into terror for a group of young counselors. You know this is a ripoff of Friday the 13th, but it's fun. It's fun. Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. A group of tourists arrive in Burkesville, Maryland after seeing the Blair Witch Project to explore the mythology and phenomenon, only to come face to face with their own neurosis and possibly the witch herself. Bruiser. After years of being tread upon and cheated on, a man awakens to find his face has been replaced by a blank white mask. Horror and mystery. Bruiser. Cabin by the Lake. A screenwriter who lives in a cabin by the lake near Los Angeles drowns young women, then goes back to visit their bodies and do their laundry. Dark comedy, horror, and thriller. How creepy is that with Judd Nelson? Camp Blood 2. Smarmy opportunist filmmaker Worthy Milligan convinces traumatized soul survivor Trisha to work as a technical advisor on a film he's making about the horrific clown. Camp Blood 2. Carnage Road. 4 students set out to the barren Nevada desert on a class photography assignment. They are soon confronted by a machete-wielding maniac known as Quilt Face. Carnage Road. Carnivore. A government experiment goes totally wrong as a creature confined in a hidden lab inside an abandoned house escapes. Horror sci-fi. Carnivore. Notice how in 2000s there's already lots of beast movies, monster movies. Casper's Haunted Christmas. Casper decides to celebrate Christmas with the Jollymore family instead of doing his ghostly tasks. Now this is obviously holiday animation, but it's horror because Casper is a ghost. Chasing Sleep. A college professor wakes up to find his wife has not returned home, then struggles to understand her disappearance. Starring Jeff Daniels. You remember him from Dumb and Dumber? Next up we have is Cherry Falls. In the small town of Cherry Falls, a psychotic murderer is killing off the virgins of the local high school. Cherry Falls. Now how would he know they're virgins? Think about it. How would he know? So it could be a jock trying to get into girls' pants. Citizen Toxie, the Toxic Avenger 4. The Toxic Avenger must defend his friends from his own evil alternate universe doppelganger, the Noxious Offender. This movie is comedy, B-horror, and horror. They Nest. A Maine island becomes infested with lethal insects that root inside their victims, while a local doctor battles the bugs and incorrigible locals that don't believe him. Crocodile. 8 college students board a houseboat for their spring vacation that promises to be the best of their young lives. How many will survive? Action, adventure, comedy, and horror. Next up we have is Crossfire. A woman with the power to start fires with her mind searches for revenge for the murder of her friend by men above the law. Crossfire. Almost like Firestarter. Next up we have is Cut. Years after the original director was killed during the filming of a low-budget thriller, a crew of film students set out to finish where she left off. When the filming begins, so too do the killings. That looks good. Alright, Deadfall. A dark supernatural force is unleashed, spoiling a weekend trip. Deadfall. Horror. Does that look creepy? Next up we have is Preminen Nos Dans Le Boy. A group of young actors stay overnight in their host's castle, only to be hunted by a serial killer. I love all these serial killers coming after a group of friends, a group of college people. That's always killing people. Dinner for Two. A sequel to Cannibal Doctor. Misty Monday plays her own sister who is tenderized, tickled, massaged, oiled, and cooked for the dining pleasure of the Mad Doctor and his wife. Dracula 2000. Dracula slakes his bloodthirst and renews his search for love in New Orleans. Dracula 2000. I love Dracula movies. Next up we have is Drainiac. Below the crumbling foundation and within rusting pipes of the deserted house dwells something that is about to be unleashed. When a group of friends set out to renovate an old home, they encounter a water demon made flesh. Drive-In. A man confined to a room across from a drive-in theater, showing only horror movies, escapes and goes on a killing rampage. This movie is fun. It's called Drive-In. It's horror. You'll love it. Dumpster Baby. Oh, a little boy was dumped in the dumpster. A strung-out drug addict gives birth to a premature crack baby and abandons it in a nearby alley. Left for dead, the baby begins a surreal journey as it encounters a wide array of bizarre characters. Dumpster Baby. Escape from Hell. A man induces cardiac arrest in order to have a near-death experience. His journey takes him to the gates of hell. Drama and horror. Faust. A man sells his soul to the devil to gain superpowers and avenge his girlfriend's brutal murder. When he realizes that the price is the soul of his new love interest, he turns on the devil. Faust. Final Destination, one of the best movies of 2000. After gaining a premonition about a plane crash on a school trip, Alex, a student, saves a few of his classmates. However, one by one, his classmates die. Flashback. As a young child, Jeanette witnessed her parents' brutal murder. After years in a mental institution, the 22-year-old is finally strong enough to leave the asylum and begin a life of her own. Maybe you should get a life of your own before it's too late. Godzilla vs. Megaguro. Japanese creature. An artificial black hole device to trap Godzilla forever. But a test of the device creates a new foe for Godzilla. Dinosaur Adventure. Hellraiser Inferno. A shady police detective becomes embroiled in a strange world of murder, sadism, and madness after being assigned a murder investigation against a madman known only as the Engineer. Ed Gein. The story of Ed Gein, who dug up the corpses of over a dozen women and made things out of their remains before finally shooting 2 people to death and butchering their bodies like beef sides. Ed Gein or Ed Gein. Island of the Dead. Stranded on a deserted island, a group of people struggle to survive against a swarm of supernatural flies. Island of the Dead. Next up we have is Jack Frost 2, Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman. The Mutant Killer Snowman Jack Frost returns to kill more people during Christmas. We love Jack Frost too. Look at his little face. Look at his teeth. Junk. A team of jewel thieves are caught between a Yakuza gang and a mass of zombies when they enter an abandoned factory once used as a site for secret experiments by the US military. Junk. Ju-on, the Curse 2. On his request, the sensitive sister of a real estate agent visits a house he intends to sell, only to cross paths with its resident's curse. Ju-on, the Curse 2. Killjoy. 3 youngsters encounter an evil clown. Killjoy was here. Kilroy. Remember Kilroy from Sticks? Well, this is Killjoy. Look at his teeth. Look at his teeth. Blood Surf. Follow an MTV-style filmmaker as she and her crew shoot an expose of the latest, most dangerous craze and extreme sports, blood surfing. While shooting in Australia, the crew becomes prey to a vicious saltwater crocodile. Leprechaun 5 in the Hood. When 3 rappers want to get even with a pimp, they accidentally unleash a leprechaun who goes on a killing rampage in the hood. This movie is a parody and total racist. I love it. This is Iki Jikoku. Yasu is a teenage wheelchair user. His grandmother and granddaughter are truly cruel sadists, intent on subjecting trapped Yasu to the most violent treatment. Or Living Hell. Long Dream. Strange things lurk in dreams. For Mukoda, the doctors tending to him, things have begun to get stranger as Mukoda begins having longer and longer dreams every night. Long Dream. Lost Souls. A Catholic teacher meets an atheist journalist, whom a group of Catholics and priests believe has been chosen by the devil to be the Antichrist. Lost Souls. Next up we have is Machine Head. A teenager creates a machine to raise the dead for a science experiment. Things go terribly wrong. Comedy and horror. Machine Head. Meat Market. Animals attack, says the TV news, but two ex-security agents known as the real cause may be the real culprits. Action, comedy, and horror. Meat Market. From the depths of hell, the dead have returned to walk the earth. Mirror, Mirror 4. Reflections. A storm rages. 5 desperate people are caught in the mirror's power to reveal lost souls, broken dreams, second chances, and some very strange sexual vengeance. Mirror, Mirror. Mistress Frankenstein. Dr. Victor Frankenstein neglects the sexual needs of his frigid and frustrated wife Helena. After Helena gets killed in a horse riding accident, Victor decides to bring her back to life. Scary movie. I love this movie. A year after disposing of the body of a man they accidentally killed, a group of dumb teenagers are stalked by a bumbling serial killer. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Parody movie. Nightmare. 7 friends will die one by one for protecting a terrible secret. Can a vengeful spirit be stopped? I love it. Nightmare. They die one by one. I love it. Check out Nightmare. Next up we have is Nutbag. A serial killer stalks prostitutes, hookers, and sluts on the mean streets of Las Vegas. I love it. That's my kind of movie. Hookers, sluts, and prostitutes. Nutbag. Octopus. During the Cuban Missile Crisis, a Russian sub is sunk while en route to Havana. As the sub goes down, the hold is breached and barrels are full of some mysterious substance tumble out. The octopus attacks. Pitch Black. I love Pitch Black. A transport ship crashes and leaves its crew stranded on a deserted planet inhabited by bloodthirsty creatures that come out during an eclipse. So they hate the light, but they love the dark. Possessed. Inspired by the true account of a 1949 Catholic church exorcism performed in America, Possessed tells a story that was suppressed for nearly a half a century. Possessed. It's a remake. Hollow Man. I love Hollow Man. A brilliant scientist's discovery renders him invisible, but transforms him into an omnipotent, dangerous megalomaniac. So you can be invisible, but you're gonna go crazy. Satan's School for Girls. A young woman enrolls at an all-girls college in New England to investigate her sister's suicide and is slowly lured into witchcraft. Drama and horror. Prison of the Dead. Christoph, an eccentric rich kid, tricks his high school friends into getting back together for a reunion of sorts. Prison of the Dead. Horror. Psycho Scarecrow. A tape-recorded message from a murdered girl recounts the terrifying night she and her friends found themselves stuck in the middle of a haunted cornfield. Psycho Scarecrow. So she pretty much gave a journal of what happened. Python. After a military plane crashed near a small American town, a giant man-eating snake sets off a killing spree. Python. Dark comedy, action, and horror. Reaper. Horror novelist Luke retreats to a small town to finish writing his latest book. No sooner has he arrived, however, than a young woman is murdered in the woods. Reaper. So does he write about the book or the murder? Red Room 2. Another 4 average citizens play the king game for a chance to win big money. They torture each other in increasingly horrific ways as part of the game rules. Red Room 2, you'll love it. It's Asian. Ring 0, Birthday. In this prequel to Ring, a young Sadako becomes an actress in hopes of escaping her troubled past. But strange visions and terrifying encounters occur. Scrapbook. A young woman is abducted by a serial killer and kept as his prisoner. Horror thriller. Scrapbook. Next up we have is Scream 3. While Sidney Prescott and her friends visit the Hollywood set of Stab 3, the third film based on the Woodsboro murders, another Ghostface killer rises to terrorize them. We love Scream 3. Seance. A psychic housewife and her husband become burdened with a kidnapped girl who escaped her assailant. Seance. Crime, drama, fantasy, and horror. Sex, lies, and video violence. Mick is a total film nerd and would rather be sitting at home watching violent action movies than to be outside drinking and hanging out with friends. Sex, lies, and video violence. Parody, action, comedy, and horror. Shadow of the Blair Witch. In this true crime documentary, we delve into the murder spree that was the inspiration for Joe Berlinger's Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. Shadow of the Vampire. The filming of Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror, 1922, is hampered by the fact that its star, Max Schreck, is taking the role of a vampire far more seriously than seems humanly possible. Shark Attack 2. The mutant sharks from Dr. Craven's experiments in Shark Attack 1 are back, this time choosing Cape Town, South Africa as their hunting ground. Shriek. If you know what I did last Friday the 13th, I love it. A reporter investigates a series of murders, dubbed the Spring Break Massacre, which leads to further mayhem. Featuring, what's her name? The girl from Saved by the Bell. Tiffany Tyson. Sideshow. While visiting a traveling carnival full of human freaks, high school students nearly join as permanent members. Sideshow. You'll love it. Sleepwalker. Ulrich Hansen is 45 years old and lives a secure life in a Swedish residential district together with his wife Monica and their 2 children. Sleepwalker. Horror, mystery, and thriller. Sleepy Hollow High. 5 teenagers are forced to clean up the woods of Sleepy Hollow, but one by one they are decapitated by a man with a jack-o'-lantern mask and a sword. But who could it be? Sleepy Hollow High. Spiders. A DNA experiment on a rare breed of spider is taking place on a NASA space shuttle, when a freak meteor shower engulfs the shuttle, causing everything to go horribly wrong. Stage Ghost. A group of people are trapped inside a stagecoach station under attack by spirits. Thriller, western, and horror. Stranger Than Fiction. Lives spiral out of control when 4 friends cover up a murder. Stranger Than Fiction. This movie is a scorcher. You'll love it. Subconscious Cruelty, an anthology of horror consisting of 4 segments, all themed around gory subjects. Subconscious Cruelty with Sophia Lazier. Supernova, a deep space rescue and recovery spaceship with a crew of 6, receives a distress call from a mining operation 3,432,000 light years away. Devil in the Flesh 2. After escaping a mental institution, Debbie Strong steals the car, money, and identity of a college co-ed and heads off college, where she becomes obsessed with Sam, a handsome writing teacher. Terror Taxi. When he's run down and killed by the angry spirit of a dead taxi driver, Korean cabbie Gil discovers that he's become the latest ghost driver in a fleet of phantom taxis cruising the city. Terror Tract. A real estate agent terrifies a couple with the grim fates of the previous owner of a house they're looking at. Terror Tract. The Asylum. Plagued by endless visions and nightmares, Janie Adams suspects that as a child, she was responsible for the brutal murders of her own mother. The Asylum. The Black Door. Seattle, USA, at the demand of Meg, a camera crew investigates the strange course of events that brought Stephen H., her boyfriend, to be hospitalized. The Black Door. This is the scorcher. The Comet. A group of college students break into an abandoned convent and become possessed by demonic spirits. I love it. Bunch of kids again. I love it. The Corpse Grinders 2. The nephews Landau and Maltine of the original owners start up the family business again. Horror, sci-fi, and thriller. The Corpse Grinders 2. The Doorway. An easy-paying job turns into a fight to death when college students realize that the house they're cleaning is a portal to hell. The Doorway. Reaper. Horror novelist Luke retreats to a small town to finish writing his latest book, starring Chris Sarandon and Catherine Mary Stewart. The Reaper. There were the stepfather, now we have the stepdaughter. Growing up, Susan Heller survived countless foster homes and years of abuse and neglect, with one burning goal: to find somebody with the birth mother who abandoned her and gets revenge. The Unknown. 5 young field biologists are sent to northern Sweden to investigate effects of a large forest fire. Horror, mystery, and sci-fi. The Vault. A teacher and 4 students visit an old high school that is set to be demolished. They discover the school was placed that used to hold slaves. The Vault. The Wine Mystery. After hastening the death of a tenant with whom he has been feuding, Squire brings the dead man's young daughter to live with them. The Wyvern Mystery. Truth About Demons. An anthropologist's life and reality are ripped apart by a satanic cult. Truth About Demons. I know all about Truth About Demons. Alright, this one's a good one. The Mummy Theme Park. 2 adventurers are sent to explore an ancient curse unleashed at the Mummy Theme Park. The Mummy Theme Park. Released in 2000. This is horror. It's good. It's corny. It's cheesy. You'll love it because it's The Mummy. The Record. This is the classic tale of misfit high school students taking a prank too far, resulting in the death of a classmate. Or, it seems to be. The record. For the record. The Calling. A woman is used as a pawn to bring to fruition the rule of the Antichrist. The Calling. Horror and thriller. Next up we have is The Cell. An FBI agent persuades a social worker who is adept with a new experimental technology to enter the mind of a comatose serial killer in order to learn where he has hidden his latest kidnapped victim. The Darkling. When mechanic Jeff Olmode meets the wealthy and mysterious Bruno Rubin, he is exposed for the first time to the finer things in life. The Darkling will not disappoint. Here's one. The Dummy. Remember the movie Mannequin? The Dummy. A ventriloquist dummy with a mind of its own can't resist its homicidal impulses and cuts a bloody swath through a peaceful suburb. So the mannequin's killing people. Ginger Snaps. Two death-obsessed sisters, outcast in their suburban neighborhood, must deal with the tragic consequences when one of them is bitten by a deadly werewolf. The Prophecy 3, The Ascent. As the war between heaven and earth rages on, the half-human, half-wall angel is mankind's only hope against the diabolical angel. Next up we have is Unspeakable. Impotent and unhappy middle-aged James Phillips goes murderously around the bend after an automobile accident claims the life of his beloved daughter. Unspeakable. This movie was great. Urban Legends Final Cut. A film school is the center of a fresh spate of killings based on urban legends. This movie's good. I love it. Alright, next up we have is Vampire Hunter. A legendary D. Hamper competes with a motley family of bounty hunters to return a young woman. Vampire Hunter. Witchcraft 11, Sisters in Blood. 3 drama students revive 3 witches who want to open a gate of hell. Witchcraft 11, Sisters in Blood. Witch House 2, Blood Coven. When an old house in a small town is razed to make for a shopping mall, the crew unearths 4 unmarked graves. Witch House 2, Blood Coven. Zombie Bloodbath 3, Zombie Armageddon. A bunch of zombies that are used by the government to fight in a major war in the near future get launched into space. Those were the best films, the best horror films that were released in the year 2000. Cable TV, movie theaters, drive-ins. Let me know where you saw your favorite horror movie in the year 2000. That may be a long time away or a long time to remember, but what movies do you remember that scared you in the year 2000? Alright? I love the Final Destinations. I love the urban legends. I love movies like that. I like the cast ensemble of anywhere from 5 to 7 kids. Those slasher movies I love. Alright, what were some of yours? I'm Tony. If you haven't already, click subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you for joining me on the best films of 2000. Stay tuned for our next video coming soon. The best horror films of the year 2001. I'm Tony. Thanks, and I'll see you all real soon.